Landing craft are small and medium sea-going watercraft such as boats and barges used to convey a landing force, infantry or vehicles, from the sea to the shore during an amphibious landing. Because of the need to run up onto a suitable beach, they are usually flat-bottomed vessels with a lowerable ramp rather than a normal bow, which made them difficult to control and very uncomfortable in rough seas. During World War II, a large quantity with a range of variants were built, many at the Southern Railway Works at Eastleigh in Hampshire. The Eastleigh Works were the main locomotive and carriage and wagon works for Southern Railways, but also built landing craft as part of the war effort. When over 98,000 railwaymen left to join the forces, the government were quick to intervene, and by 1943 there were 88,464 women working on the railways. This government wartime film uses tongue-in-cheek language to challenge the stereotypical roles of the time and encourage women to work on a landing assault craft, possibly at a works in Wakefield.
Shortly to go under many a bridge is this boat in the making. The keel is being laid of another landing assault craft. The main frames come first. They are the skeleton of the boat, the sturdy innards that will stand up to the worst rough and tumble. Half the workers at this inland factory are women. One of them, blonde Peggy Taylor, was a cinema usherette. She handles the double-thickness boards which are fixed to the main frame and make the sides of the vessel. Now the riveters get to work, and few of these girls had ever handled anything more deadly than a pair of scissors. Mrs. Pickering, the painter, is the mother of 10 children. To prevent leaks, the outside of the boat is stopped and caulked, while another gang of workers make things trim inside. Within a week of the laying of the keel, she takes the water, and in a moment she'll be off on her trials before being handed over to the Navy. Yet she cuts a pretty wash, don't you think so? Civilian builder gives way to service skipper as the sleek new assault craft shows off her paces. Thanks to the industry of the workers, this fast, week-old baby is doing mighty fine.
The Imperial War Museum film of the Eastleigh Works from April 1943 is more documentary in style. We can see not only how landing craft were built, but the women replaced men in most of the major aspects of the production line of different types of landing craft. The first we see is the ramp of a mechanized landing craft, MLC, lowered into position with workers helping to manually maneuver it into place before hammering in a pin as the pivot. This is followed by the engine, which is carefully lowered below deck. The landing craft, mechanized Mark I or LCM-1, was used extensively in the Second World War. The craft derived from a prototype designed by Thornycrofts of Woolston, Southampton. Its primary purpose was to ferry tanks from transport ships to shore. Ferrying troops, other vehicles and supplies were secondary tasks for this type of vessel. In the film, tests are undertaken on a machine gun turret mounted on a landing craft support, LCS. The landing craft support was intended to give added firepower close in. The crew was Royal Navy with Royal Marines to operate the weapons, 2 half-inch Vickers machine guns and a 4-inch mortar. Landing craft supports could be produced in as little as 10 days, with final fitting out a further few weeks. Inside an assault landing craft, LCA, the type seen in the film from Wakefield, 2 very young apprentices heat rivets in a furnace for more experienced workmen to hammer into the deck, whilst a navigational aid is fitted to the bridge. Landing craft assaults, LCAs, was another landing craft used extensively in World War II, primarily to ferry troops from transport ships to the shore. Pneumatic drills and machine tools are also used by both male and female workers in the construction of fast motorboats seen in the advanced stage of construction. Introduced to the Admiralty by the British Powerboat Company of Hythe early in 1935 and used as a captain's boat, Vosper's, Thornycroft and White's all built numbers of their own design from the outbreak of the war. Female workers can be seen painting sections of a pontoon outside the workshop on a flat railway wagon, and a landing craft support LCS and 2 landing craft personnel LCPs are towed out of the workshop doors on flat railway wagons by a locomotive. There is also a single 25-foot fast motorboat FMB on the rear wagon. The landing craft mechanized is carried on a Pickford trailer through Dock Gate 4 at Southampton to the outer dock, now Ocean Village, where it is lifted from the trailer by crane and eventually launched onto the water. The landing craft personnel and assault landing craft are towed out of Eastleigh Works on flat railway wagons. The LCP number 130 is then shown launched at Southampton docks. 3 LCPs, number 129 and 130, are then towed out of harbour by a steam tugboat. The next time we see them is during Operation Neptune. By 1945, the machine shop at the Eastleigh Works was almost all women, and although after the war they were encouraged to give up their jobs for returning servicemen, they were still making a sizable contribution to the workforce even into the 1970s. The film ends with various different landing craft in convoy on Southampton water before crossing the English Channel and the D-Day landings.